Hello, welcome to the Life and Lessons of Me. For those of you listening, you won't be able to see my not so great camera quality, but it is what it is. For those of you on YouTube, it is what it is. Um, and just like how the video is not perfect, I'm going to be talking about how nobody is perfect today on the Life and Lessons of Me. All right, let's get started. Today, I want to talk about being a person, just in general, and about how no one is perfect. Perfect to your creator, maybe, but not necessarily to everyone else or yourself. Just the way of the world. It is what it is. Self confidence is low lately. I've I've noticed, and especially amongst young people. And to be honest with you, I think that is directly related to social media, especially since it's becoming so easily accessible. But I would recommend watching The Social Dilemma on Netflix. It's very interesting. Definitely worth the watch. I know some of you might have seen it already, um, but definitely is worth taking a look at. Um, and that's The Social Dilemma on Netflix again. And it talks about similar things. Anyway, the amount of comparison we do to others is unhealthy. We have to accept ourselves for who we are and stop caring what people think. Hey, that sounds like a previous episode I made. Um, and that's the most viewed episode, so I would recommend checking that out if you haven't. Um, for meme purposes, I have 69 views on that one. Um, Not views, plays. I have 69 plays. If you are my age, you would know what that meant. But not everything can be a meme. So please go watch that video. I think it's a video too. You can go watch the video, listen to the podcast on that one. Yeah. Um, but anyway, we need to accept ourselves and accept others for their flaws. No one is perfect. Some people have issues you can't see, issues that don't affect their daily lives but are there. As soon as we realize we are perfect in our imperfection, we become free. Now, that might be hard to understand because it seems like an oxymoron. Um, how can imperfection be perfect, you ask? But, you know, as people, we need to realize that not everyone is perfect. Literally, nobody's perfect unless you're Tom Brady. But, we can't all be Tom Brady, who has personal trainers and dietitians, and, he might have unlocked the fountain of youth. We don't know. We don't know. But we can't all be Tom Brady. So keep that in mind. Um, and I would like to talk about myself for a little bit for a second. What did I say? We need to accept others for their flaws. That's kind of important to me because, you know, um, acceptance in general should be important to everybody, but especially for me because my unique circumstances um, tend to require acceptance. If you know what I mean. Because the other day I had to get carried all around my friend's house, and that takes some getting used to for me and for my friends, I think. But after the first time, it's not an issue at all. It's not awkward, nothing like that. But like, in order to truly unlock your full potential, you need to accept yourself. Um, but again, as soon as we realize we are perfect in our imperfection, we become free. Free in terms of the ability to accept yourself and others, which allows your inner confidence to come alive. If I hadn't accepted my circumstances with my abilities with Duchenne, I would not be able to see past the difficulty of Duchenne. I've had to accept a lot of things, and it goes both ways. Like acceptance for me to myself, and other people accepting me. So sometimes I feel ridiculous needing help to do everything just because I don't know how I look. Can everyone see my butt? I don't know. The other day it was really funny. Like I was being carried up the steps, and there's a guy behind me, um, who is my friend now. I just met him, um, but he was like, "Nice underwear." I'm like, so like, it's just a joke, you know. So if you can't laugh at yourself, then you're doing something wrong. Um, but yeah, can I control that I look ridiculous? No. Can I help that? No. Like so, I had to accept it and laugh at it, and I don't really care that I have to be picked up. Um, and honestly, it makes me feel normal because I can go wherever my friends go. So yeah. Um, but in this episode, I would also like to talk about taking my own advice. The last episode, I talked about um, having goals but no plan. Um, like goals are very important, but for me, I'm still developing those goals, and I'm still working on becoming super motivated. So the point of my saying that is to show you that even if you think I have things figured out, like I seem to in this show, I don't have it all down. So do not think that this is like an instant thing. Like I can give advice, but it's not always an easy thing to listen to, especially if it's new and you're like, I don't know. But don't sell yourself short when you hear advice, but don't follow it as easily as it is to say it. Like, there's always something about following your own advice, which is not the easiest thing to do. It's really not, because you can say that you think this way, but then you might not act that way instantly. It's not the it's not really that easy. Like, oh, if you're down in the dumps, like, oh, do what Jordan said and just like, you know, get undepressed. Like, I never said just instantly, come out of something. Like, you know, I'm still working out the kinks. I'm good a lot of days, but like, there's every once in a while you're like, do I feel like doing anything? No. Do I feel like having goals right now? No. But you know, and some days, like even the advice I just gave you today, do I always not compare myself to other people? No, I'm only human. Like I said, nobody's perfect, which reaffirms the message of today's episode, which is nobody's perfect. So that is what I will leave you with today. Um, I recommend that you realize that nobody's perfect, and stop um, comparing yourself to other people. I mean, you know, I recommend you do that. But is it easy to do that? Not always. Will it take work? Yep. Everything worth doing takes work. And, it's hard to realize that when you're my age, because you're like, well, I just want everything done right now. But that is not how the world works. So thank you for listening to the life and lessons of me. Sorry, I got a little ranty there. But yeah, that's what happens when you go off script, like I just did. Yeah, but you should definitely check out my other episodes if you haven't. Go follow my social medias. It's at the life and lessons of me. I'm on TikTok as Jordan Reidenberg. Uh, so yeah, sometimes I advertise the podcast on that, but yeah. So I think it's gonna do it for today's episode. Again, sorry for going off the script, and I kind of ramble on a little bit, but that's how it is sometimes. Gotta accept that. I ramble on. All right, here we go. Finally gonna end it. Thanks for watching the video if you're on YouTube, and thanks for listening.